Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone to another Ref Brandon and the Todd family YouTube video. Wherever you are, whatever you may be doing. Thank you so much for making Ref Brandon and the Todd family a part of your day. We always greatly appreciate it. Hard to believe that this is the final Wednesday in the month of September, so it's our final top 10 countdown for the month of September. And I mentioned in my video yesterday that most teams now have played 3 or 4 games, so you're about a quarter of the way through everybody's regular season schedule, so you can start getting a gauge now on who's good, who's not, things like that. So in honor of that, this week's top 10 countdown is the top 10 total offenses from NCAA.com, which is about the best website to go to if you want to read about NCAA football. And this is total offenses based on yards per game. And of course, there's top 10 points per game and things like that. But this is just top 10 offenses based on yards per game. Number 10, after their huge offensive night this past Friday night, the Washington State Cougars are averaging 515.2 yards a game. Number 9, Pittsburgh, 522. Number 8, Arkansas, 524. Number 7, Penn State, 537.7. And number 6, Boise State, 543 yards per game. Again, 10 through 6. So Washington State, Pittsburgh, Arkansas, Penn State, and Boise State. And this is top 10 offenses in college football from NCAA.com on yards per game. Number 5, Ohio State, 552. Number 4, Tennessee, 565.8. Number 3, Central Florida, 570.7. Number 2, Miami, 605. And number 1, the Ole Miss Rebels are averaging just under 671 yards per game. So they're almost 66 yards per game better than number 2, Miami. And that is top 10 offenses in college football based on stats from NCAA.com, just on total offenses, yards per game. Now again, there's different stats to go by. A lot of people go by the points per game, and you can go by that, and it's generally pretty accurate. But I've never liked to go by that because a lot of times, if you watch a whole football game, sometimes a team might score 38 points, but they've only had 200 yards because their defense caused turnovers, their special teams might have blocked a punt, blocked a field goal, and a lot of times people will count points per game, counting what your defense did. For example, this past Saturday in Clemson's big win over NC State, Clemson had a pick 6. So in my personal opinion, their offense scored 52 points. I don't count the pick 6 on defense as an offensive touchdown because it wasn't on offense. But if you look at their stats and you look at Clemson's points per game, they're going to include that. I don't. So if I talk about a team's points per game, I don't count the fumble return touchdowns, I don't count the punt return touchdowns, and I don't count the pick 6s because they didn't come from your offense. So a lot of times the points per game is hard to go by just like yards per game because sometimes turnovers give you easy points, and you're getting points, but you're not getting yards. But generally, most of the time, if you average 500 plus yards per game, you've got a pretty stinking good offense. But there are outliers where you might have a game with 600 yards, but you only have 14 points. And there might be a game where you only have 300 yards, but because of turnovers and special teams plays, you might score 55. But generally, most of the time, if you average 500 plus yards per game, you've got a pretty good offense. Any thoughts on any of this, please feel free to let me know. Let's go ahead and get our dad joke of the day in here. Muffins spelled backwards is what I do after I take them out of the oven. And that does it for today's Ref Brandon and the Todd family YouTube video. Until next time, it's Ref Brandon saying, just like in pro wrestling, life can be over by the count of 3. Tell your friends and family how much you love them. Bye.